Okay, so we're at Old Car City, and we just got here, and we're going to be exploring today. Um, I'm gonna probably do primarily pictures, maybe a few videos, but this should be pretty interesting. So this is, I think, a '57 Ford, and I was just like, why is this quarter panel bulged out like this? And I walk over here and I see this barrel that was set under it. So at some point, somebody jacked this car up and stuck the barrel under it as kind of a makeshift jack stand, probably to rob parts off the rear end. The axle's gone, so whoever done that years and years ago, and then the car resting on the barrel and the rest of it rusted loose, and it just kind of done that to itself. Pretty wild how that happened. Lots of Georgia tags. This Pontiac, which I think is a Catalina, I'm not sure, but has a Kentucky tag from '79. So looks very solid for a car that came from Kentucky. Huh, interesting. Executive. So is it a Catalina Executive, or is Executive its own model? I don't know. Never seen that. Oh yeah, yeah. So she spotted a, like she said, ice cold knee high. So that was a drink cooler from a store back in the day. So I found a 280ZX. Now, I'm used to seeing rusty Datsuns. This is another level. I don't see a tag right off. But I mean, of course it looks like was in a pretty bad wreck to begin with, so. But man, that is another level of rot. Oh, the motor's still there. And yes, there's lots more cars that are more shame to see, but you know, I'm a Datsun guy, so. But there's absolutely nothing you could salvage off of that. Interesting, it's a hardtop car. Most of your ZXs were T-tops. This is probably 79 or earlier. So I have found another Datsun in the junkyard here, and the whole front end's missing, but well, yeah, the motor's still in there, head's off. But I can tell you this is at least a 1970, because over there you can see the L series valve cover and intake, so that means it had at least the 1600. Now the funny part is it was sitting on top of an A100 van, which has collapsed under the weight. And then of course you got a Ford with a 350. And then you got an Econoline van over here. This just collapsed just because it's that rusty. Apparently that was brake shoe storage. And then the next van here. Oh, I've heard about this one. That's the oil can van. Ooh, that smells wonderful. Chevrolet, and then this van doesn't have anything in it. Ooh, is this a Dodge? I believe it is. Another 50s, early 50s Dodge. Okay, so right here, this hood looks to me like may have went with this Camaro, which was probably a drag car back in the day. It's either got, looks like it's had some kind of homemade fender flares out of Bondo. Oh, that's not a Camaro, that's a Firebird, my bad. I should know that by the tail lights. Anyways, first gen Firebird sitting there. And then we have like a bunch of hoods and some sort of a dune buggy thing. And another Cadillac, tags on it from 71. Oh, another panel truck over there. And then we have this shed building. It has all kinds of random junk under it. And there is some cars back here though. Some cars that got put back here. Oh, there's a pool table. So that's a 30s something. I'm not sure. Could be a Buick by the vents in the hood. Not really sure. And so here we have a 50s. Oh, okay. This one's interesting. This is a Packard Clipper. Now the reason I know that right off is your little ship steering wheel back there. Is what gave it away, is this is a Clipper. I was looking at one of these and kind of done some research on them. I messed around and didn't buy it. It was a 56, which is the last year Clipper. I'm gonna try and squeeze between here and see if I can get a front end shot of it. Yep, see, there's the clipper. So I think this is a 55 maybe. The 56 was a little different. And then that one's a Ford. And then over here we got an Oldsmobile. Looks like no, it's a Cutlass, not a 442. I'm gonna say this is a Studebaker because you got the S in the middle there. And you got a Pontiac Grand Prix. So these cars under here is definitely like been put under here because they were good enough to save. Who knows if there's any paperwork? Of course, Georgia just is a bill of sale on old cars. So, okay, so up there is a dark convertible, and I think there's another one beside of it, up on these poles. So those were probably set up there with a forklift. Okay, we had the similar to a Christine car down there, and then we're in a truck section right here, and then we have a 70s custom van that kind of looks like may have burnt because like there's little sections of paint and then a lot of the paint is gone. I'm gonna say that one had a fire. We got a panel truck behind that, 50s Chevy, another 50s Chevy. Here we got a 55. Then we got a little Econoline Ford van. Over here we have an International panel truck. So these are pretty rare. And this one looks like has been converted into a camper. So there's like a little wall and a window there. What do we got going on in the back? Can we tell? It's piled full of parts, I'd say. Yeah, like to the brim. But you can tell there's like wood panels and stuff. So this thing was made into a camper. Then you have a 55 Ford, and just parts and stuff strewed everywhere. Oh, another one I thought was pretty neat. Let me take you back over here. Square body Chevy. Take you back over here right quick. We've got a couple of tow trucks. This one right here is 47, 48 Ford, I think. They had the vertical bars in the grill, made them whistle. They were called a whistling Ford. That one's a 55, I think. And then a 40 Chevy. See, these are all 2 tons, and a lot of them was tow trucks. Oh, I got to get back down here to show you this one, though. It's pretty cool. So that's a 47, 48 Ford. This Dodge, though. So any of y'all familiar with the Wrong Turn movies? There's your Wrong Turn Dodge. It's even the right color. It's a 2-ton. Most likely had some kind of towing apparatus at one point. Hard to say, but yeah. So that's my favorite of the tow truck section. Now that one's just a pickup. That's a 55-ish Ford. Oh, and then you got one there that actually got the quarter panel cut off of it. So you can see some actual junkyard activities have gone on. So here's Christine's cousin. I'm not sure what year Plymouth that is, but it's a little different. The 5th wheel on the trunk thing, the back end's a little different. Front's pretty similar. And then we have, you know, just piles of cars, parts. It's pretty crazy. kind of checking out the tree growth here. So we've got a tree grown up through the frame of this old Chevy truck. But if that wasn't bad enough, we have a tree grown through the door of this Volkswagen van. And this is a massive tree. And it's like grown right up through the door, and like the door is like now bent around it. So real quick while I'm here, we'll show you this. Earlier there was a multi-window ragtop van. This one doesn't have the windows in the roof, but still has split window, no interior left to speak of. And then I want to see this one over here is a Willys Overland Jeep. So this would have been like a 60s Wagoneer type thing. It's got this cool old Champion spark plug sticker on the window. So we got some more crazy tree growth here. So the tree is grown up through the bumper, and this front end that was laid in the bed is now like grown into the tree. And the tree is mostly holding the back of the truck up because the van it was sitting on is, yeah, pretty much collapsed. There's parts of the air-cooled VW, but yeah, kind of just laying in a pile. Oh, there's lots of VW parts laying in this pile. Early enough van, it's got the big 5 lug. Oh, interestingly, that's a Ford front end that the tree's grown around, but this is actually an International pickup that the Ford front end is laying in the back of. Even got a VW engine upside down in the driver's seat. Back row here looks like it's mostly Fords. It's not as much of a path that gets traveled, it doesn't look like back here. Now I don't know much about Fords. I think that's a Torino. That one's a Mercury. That's interesting. I've never seen a Mercury like that. And over here's a wagon. and some other kind of 4-door. Let's see. These looks like was put back here a long time ago and just forgot. Of course, everything in this place is pretty much forgot, you know, abandoned. Oh, now is that a Mercury? I guess it's got hidden headlights. It's interesting. I believe that one's a Mercury. Yeah, there it says on the hood. This tree growth here is kind of crazy. It's like a canopy. Alright. See if I can make my way back. Oh, it's a long ways before this joins back to the other trail. Huh. Oh, you talking about this one over here? So this is about a 69 Mercury Cougar. And this tree has just like, I don't know if the tree totally done that to the door or if maybe that's forklift damage, but the tree is like grown to the side of the car. There's another Ford wagon. We got a Fairlane wagon. And over here we got a little Falcon, I believe. Now, LTD wagon. I think I have found the land of wagons here. Wow, I still can't get back over there to where she's at. I'm stuck over here in Ford land. And then here's your Mustang convertible. Flintstones edition. Could cut between right there, but there's a lot of poison ivy around here that I'm trying to avoid. So I'm just trying to get on back here to where I can rejoin the main path. Oh, my Pinto. That one's a Mercury. I want to say that's I don't know. It's like the Mercury version of the Torino. I don't know what they are. Probably somebody would know. And like I say, I'm not a Ford guy. I just sort of came around this way, and now I'm sort of stuck over here because this path doesn't rejoin to way back here. Some stainless steel boiler thing. Looks like it could be part of a moonshine still or pressure cooker. Okay, so I made it out of Ford land. Now I'm over here amongst some more GMs. And like Vanette just said, this seems to be an older part that is like stuff has been here for a very long time and just overgrown. Some of it you can't even see the cars. But this, okay, right there, this thing's mostly stripped. The engine's still there. You know, I know it's like late 60s, but it's an actual GTO. And of course it's beyond any thought of restoration, but it's like, wow. The crazy thing is the engine's still there because, you know, that's what made the car. Of course, I don't know if that's the original engine, probably not, or it would have been long gone. seemingly at the back of the property here. And there's some really old stuff here. Now that one's tagged still just from 71. There's a 55 Chevy. This stuff is so overtaken you can barely even see some of it. An old Impala. I think that might be a Mercury. And then like a Galaxy. And then I'm not sure what that other one is. And then we got some older 50s stuff back there. And this section here is like not even maintained or mowed very much. We were just talking about, you know, since this yard's supposed to have been around, oldest junkyard around like this, you'd think there would be more really old stuff. We're finding lots of 50s and 60s cars. But also, like I told her, you know, back in the day, when these were just, you know, junk cars for parts, ever so often you would rotate out your inventory, haul off the older stuff and bring in newer stuff. Up until about the 70s, it looks like. Because a lot of these tags I'm finding are from the 70s, early 80s. And that's when it kind of ceased to be an operational junkyard, I believe. I don't know the history on that exactly, but... Oh, there's an old 30s car. I can't tell you what it is, but... I think that's another Falcon. Oh, here's some that's been back here for a very long time. See, sometimes when you got something so far back in the yard, you don't bother with dragging it out even for scrap day. So that one, it's got the teardrop headlights. So I want to say that's a, what is it, 39 Ford? I'm not real sure, but I'm kind of guessing. And then this is like a 48 something Buick, somewhere along there. And then this is interesting, a Kaiser. Now a lot of people probably have never even seen a Kaiser or even heard of one. Now I can't tell you much about a Kaiser, but there is one. And then here's another old Ford, I believe. You know, and I'm ignoring, you know, this wild looking, I think that's an Oldsmobile. Some wild looking tail lights there. And let's see, what is this one? Oldsmobile, okay. Now Oldsmobile was one of the first to have V8s besides your Ford Flathead. But Oldsmobile had the Rocket V8 back in the 48 or so. So I'm not sure about that one. It's a Hydra-Matic, so it's an automatic car, which was a big deal at that point, because automatics were just first becoming popular. And then over here, oh, I always like this body style of Buick. So this is a 57 Buick. You know, everybody loves the 57 Chevrolet, and the 57 Buick was kind of overlooked. This one appears to be a two-door post. Yeah. So this one has a big tree just right across the top of it. Another teardrop headlight car. Yeah, now we're getting into some old stuff. Some of this stuff's been back here probably 50, 60 years. Oh, okay. I got a little squirrel moment here. So this, oh, no, it's a Studebaker. I thought it was a Henry J. That's one of the little Studebakers, and the whole back end of it's been cut off. Somebody needed it back in the day. And then we have a Buick convertible. 48, 49-ish. Oh, wow. Now, even though some of this stuff is completely roached out, parts like this are so hard to find that people would still use them. So, yeah, we got some old stuff back here. I can't even tell you. I'm going to guess that could be a Buick. A Buick, because you got vents in the side of the hood. And before the portholes, Buicks had vents. I know, because our 37s does. I have no idea what that is. Nope, can't tell you. 30s, that's all I can tell you, 30s. Another 30 something. The old stuff's cool, but a lot of the old stuff back in the Art Deco era looked so similar. Your badging was almost the only way to tell it apart.
Got an old race car over here.
Now the Chevrolet. Oh, now that's neat. So, and look, even got the helmet laying on top of it. So, I'm going to say this is a fake race car, though. That's spray paint, and it's got glass headlights still in it. There's still some glass. There's no roll cage. Those are stock tires. That's something they done just to kind of make that look like a race car, I'm going to say, because that's no race car. And then we got about a 50 Chevrolet. Now this one over here, I want to take a second and look at this car. My dad had one of these. It was the, what are these, 40? I don't know. Anyways, but I know he had one that sat in his junkyard for years. And it had that humped back like that. People want the coupe. Well, back then, everybody wanted the coupe. Nowadays, even this car would be a viable hot rod, even though it's a 4-door, just because you don't see much. All right, I'm jumping over a lot of 30 stuff over here. Now, this car right here, I'm going to say, let me see, is that a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay, so it's a 6-cylinder overhead valve, but it's 30s. I want to say that's Buick. There's a plate right there. Let's see. We can actually tell. Chevrolet. General Motors division. What's our year? It doesn't tell me right there. Okay, but it's a Chevrolet. See, if it was a Buick this era, it would have had a straight 8. The overhead valve is what caught my attention for something that old. And then this is late 30s, early 40s. I like the cool old cars, but like I say, I'm not as well versed in that stuff as I know a lot of the stuff back through the 50s, but once you get beyond that, is this a Lincoln? Oh my goodness. I think that's a Lincoln Zephyr. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's some type of old Lincoln. Man, that would have made a really cool hot rod. And some old shells. Okay, I got to jump back over here for a second because I just spotted this. That one I think is a Plymouth. Let's see. No, it's a Chrysler. Okay, but this one's what caught my attention. So this is another Packard Clipper. So this was like the end of the Packard era. And the Clipper, there again, you had your boat wheel. And you had your big V8. And fortunately, that one is absolutely hopeless. But I want to walk back towards the back if I can. Yeah, I can't get back there real good. I'm pretty sure this is a 55 like the one in the shed. So there again, even though everything on that's really rusty, it's such a rare car. Somebody needed something off of that. Of course, they don't have anything for sale here, so, you know. It's all just for our viewing pleasure at this point. Okay, and we got a 55. That's a 4-door. And then that one's a 57. But I want to jump back over here into the weeds for a minute. There is more old cars over back there. I think that's a 50 Ford right there. But the overgrowth back here is just so crazy. There's stuff you can't see at all. I get the whole gist of it's supposed to be an abandoned junkyard because it literally is, but I feel like a little bit of clearing out would be a good idea. Especially you got trees there that's just like dangling, partially laying on the car, partially hanging from the other trees. Oh, we must have found the shoebox section. Okay, so there's a 55, 56, 57, and that's a 4-door post. Yeah, those are all 4 doors. Another 55, and another 57. Okay, so this one's interesting. So we have a 57 El Camino. Now, anybody that knows anything about Chevys and El Caminos knows that they didn't build any such thing. So this is a homemade El Camino. They've started with a 4-door car and done some pretty good body work, it looks like. So, all right, so here's the interesting thing. What they've done here, this is the back of a 60s Chevy cab. They've grafted the roof on. I'm going to say about here. So you got the whole back of the cab. You'd think they'd have found a big window, but it's got the small window. And then the custom body work to make all that fit and work. So that's very interesting. Old school custom. But 59 was the first year for the El Camino. So that's why immediately when I saw that, I was like, that ain't supposed to be that way. And then we got the shell of another 57. And let's jump over here because we got some more. Got another 56. And that one's a wagon. And a 55 that a tree smashed up pretty good. Another 57, another 57. I mean, this road goes on up through there. So this whole section is shoebox Chevys. Huh. Interesting. They've actually pulled something out. A lot of this stuff is so rusty that, you know, it wouldn't be anything but parts, but I mean, anything but scrap on, because a lot of the parts are too rusty to do anything with. So this is nothing super out of the ordinary, but so I don't think they ever put bucket seats in a 57 Chevy from the factory. So I'm going to say those are 60s. And then you got the hole cut in the floor for the stick shift. So this is an old hot rod. Couldn't tell you what motor it is. It's completely covered in pine needles. Oh, I just spotted a cool one. So over here we got some couple Buicks. Looks like another 57 Buick. But that one right there, I like that. Boyd's Hot Rods, I think, done one. It's a 50 Buick. And it had those teethy grill that goes all the way across the bumper. It looks like it's ready to take a bite out of the car in front of it. All right, I'm over here checking this part out, and another Kaiser. Now I can't tell you much about a Kaiser, but I do know that they went out early 50s, I think. So that's probably one of the last Kaisers. And then this one's an Oldsmobile, 55, I want to say. Not 100% on that, but see what else we got on this row. That one's a Ford, early 50s Ford. Oh, now this is another Kaiser, I believe. I recognize that crazy looking grill. This is an earlier one. And it also had this, it was a curved windshield, but it had the V kind of reminiscent of the split windshield. And And we got a flathead 6-cylinder. And does it say anything in here? No, not really. I'm pretty sure that's a Kaiser. And oh man, I want to say that one is a Hudson. It's a little hard to tell with the front end off, with the grill and all off, but I'm pretty sure that's a Hudson. And then this one is a 50 Ford, I believe. Yeah, it's definitely a Ford. Not 100% on the year, but I'm pretty sure it's about a 50. Okay, gotta make my way back to the main trail. All right, so over here we've got, oh, I jumped over this one. So this is a 2-door Mercury. Now I have no idea what year, 50 something, early 50s. Behind that is an Oldsmobile. Oh yeah, let me show you this other car over here real quick. That, you know, this one was on sale half off apparently, because like half the car's gone. And Vanette's on a mission. I don't know where she's going. Anyway. I'm definitely not getting closer to that one because poison ivy everywhere. And in here, I think this is about a 55 Buick. And then we have another Packard Clipper. I believe that one's also a 55. I will go around the back of this one. There's a clear path right here. Well, I was going to show you all the tail lights, but the tail lights have been sawed off. So this one might have been a 56. The 56 Packard tail lights were very desirable for customs. Speaking of tail lights, that's an interesting one. Unfortunately, this one's broken. Old Plymouth. And then over here we have a Hudson. Let's get over here, see. Get a look at that. I'll stay out of the ivy. So there again, a lot of the grill and stuff is gone. Hudson merged with Studebaker, was it? Or no, that was Packard that merged with Studebaker. Hudson merged with Nash. Anyways, they all kind of combined together and eventually formed American Motors. I can't tell you the history of that right off the top of my head, but I do know that they all ended up all together. So yeah, I'm trying to stay on the main path when I've got these around here. Oldest car, old star. What does that say? Wide Star? I don't know. Huh? Oh, interesting. She found a pond. And I think there's a boat in it. So, yeah. Where's a pond? Oh, that's a big pond, too.
Kangaroos can't jump backwards. How do you not know?
Me neither. Okay. we're just in truck land over here. And I got distracted because I found this, which I believe to be a Triumph. Or, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Triumph. I don't know what year, but it's early, kind of bug-eyed thing. And this appears to be a Renault. And most of us Americans call them a Renault because that's how it's spelled, but it's actually Renault. Very, very crusty. Let's see what else we got over here. So this is a Opel GT, otherwise known as the poor man's Corvette. Those were made by Opel, which was associated with GM, made in Germany, was it? I believe. What the heck is this? A Borg Ward? Borg Ward by, what did that say? Trebella. And it's very strange looking engine is still in there. Look at that. The carburetor's sitting right on top of the valve cover. How does that work? That is definitely interesting. And I have no idea what a Borg Ward is. I have never seen something like this. So, if anybody knows anything about this car, you know more than I do probably. So here's our rear emblem. It's a Borg Ward coupe. Yeah, okay. This appears to be the oddballs section in foreign cars. Mostly American stuff in here, but there's a few. And that's a Rambler, so that's an AMC. We've seen a few AMCs. And what the heck is that? Is that a Saab? No, it's a Renault. Okay. Quirky, funny looking little car. Possibly another one here, I don't really know. Let's keep going this way for a second. So there's another Opel GT. And that's back into the pickups. All right, we got some more weird stuff over here. Or oddballs for this yard anyway. So here's a MG Midget. And this one is a Toyota Corona. Oh, wow. And that one would be a really cool one. I found a Datsun. I figured I would over in amongst this. And that one's an Alfa Romeo. But we gotta get over here and check out this 210. It looks pretty neat. Oh wow, a Studebaker with a tree growing up through the engine. 510 rather, my bad. Oh wow, this thing is actually pretty solid looking. Most of the stuff in here is like completely roached out. I'm not supposed to open the doors. It is a manual. It is a 4-door. What else can we tell about it? See if it's got a tag. It does, it does. Georgia 76. So 510. Not sure what year or none of that, but looks to be completely intact. So this Studebaker has its engine with the tree growing up through it. And then there's a Pacer with the windshield missing, so that's like, you know, 30% of the whole car. And then another Rambler. So looks like that's it for the oddballs. Okay, back in our oddballs row from the Triumph. Triumph. We have a Karmann Ghia. Another Karmann Ghia. Is that another Renault, I believe? I'm not really sure. Another Karmann Ghia. And I think that says Dodge. No, that's an Opel Kadett. So that was Opel's other model, was the Cadet. So to me, if the GT was the poor man's Corvette, I guess this was the poor man's Chevelle. And then we have a Volkswagen with a weird mod to the nose here. They took the fenders and made them part of the hood. That's been some kind of Baja bug, but homemade. So here we're in the front lot part of Old Car City. Here I appear to have a Buick Skylark, early 60s. And these are in here so tight, they're almost touching. We have a very old Dodge. That one's been on the road more recently. Can't see the year, but and then we have a Plymouth Barracuda with the big back glass, big wraparound window. Plymouth V8, some kind of a 30s car, I couldn't tell you on that one. And another Barracuda over here. And then we got another one here that's like right out front here and has a nice bushy tree growing right through the front end here. That's about a 47 Chevrolet. And then over here, what is that? What does that say? Oh, that's a Lincoln. I knew it was a luxury car. Okay. It's an old Lincoln. And then we have a box truck. Studebaker. Mustang. Some other Ford there. Very large pile of bicycles. And those are like, some of those are modern, so I don't know what the deal is with them. And then we have this one here, just a Ford of some sort, last tagged in 1970. So I'm going to go around here and see if I can get a little better look at that one through the fence. So yeah, that's one of those Fords that a lot of you hot rodders like to have. Sorry about the noise, we're right beside of a highway, so you know it's going to make it a little harder to hear me. And we have another Dodge. 50s Dodge. Another 50s Dodge. And, oh, there's another one of those Chryslers with the crazy headlights that stand alone. I got some pictures of one of those. And then here's a Plymouth Satellite, like I have. 73 or 4 Satellite. Looks to be fairly solid. I'm sure it's got some rust. It's been sitting there a while. Wagon wheels? Well, that's actually a wagon axle or something. Oh man, 6'4" Impala, 2-door, very crusty. 50-something Ford. Oh, we gotta jump back over here on this front row. These cars, well, I'm gonna say when they was put here, these cars were probably for sale. This one looks like may have been more parts, but and over here we got like a 69 Chevelle. What's that say on the side? Is that a SS 396? Yeah, the engine is gone. We do have the bucket seats. We have the Flintstone powertrain. Oh, wow. Yeah, she's pretty rough. I'm looking down through where the back glass is supposed to go at the ground, so that's not good.
Did you see the ground?
Oh yeah. See, right down through there you can see straight to the ground. So that one's pretty much too far gone. Tag from 1983. For some reason, 1983 seemed to be a year they bought a lot of stuff, because I've seen a lot of tags. Yeah, a lot of 70s tags, but 83, we've seen a bunch from 83. Must have been a year for buying street. So, yeah, a little tree growing up through here. So remember when I was showing you the Studebaker pickup?
Yeah.
See how this car has a very similar front end? Yeah, so this is a Studebaker Lark, and that's what the pickup of that year was based on. And back here we got another Dodge. So this one is, I don't know my Dodges that well. 50s, like 55-ish, I think. And then right over here we got one, has a one-piece hood. That one I think is 57 to 59, somewhere along that. Dodge. Yes, that's another Ranchero, the Falcon-based Ranchero. They made these, and then they made the bigger Ranchero. And we got another Chevrolet panel truck here. Why do I seem to be zoomed in? No, I'm not. And then on back here, see, all this stuff is on concrete, so it hasn't soaked up the moisture quite as bad, but wow. I don't know what that is. It's got the big 5-lug Volkswagen style wheels, I call them. That's an early Ford, I think. They was the only ones who used those big 5-lugs back then. And then we got a Malibu 350, an International. That's early 50s. We got the side mounted spare. And then we got a Chevrolet. And then here's another Studebaker Champ. And you can see how that looks like that Lark. They put the same body on basically a truck chassis, and that's how they got their truck. And then another Chevrolet and an old flat fender Jeep. Got a Ford, another Dodge. Oh, this one. Oh, let's see if I can get you a better shot of this one. So this is a Dodge panel truck. That is extremely rare. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. Another old Ford over there, and then I'm going to have to, well, no, I can go out this way. Come out the back side of this Impala. Atlanta's best country kicks 1015. So there was a another, I think that was what that red and yellow Ford that I saw and took pictures of was a Kicks Country or something like that. So this is an interesting one. This is a Rambler custom station wagon. I want to say there was something about these cars that made them kind of unique. And oh wow, look at the way the trees are growing up through the back of it. The thing about these was, I remember seeing something about them. I can't really say. All I can say is they were unique, and the trim of them the way they built them had something to do with part of Rambler's financial issues or something. I don't know. Anyways, I just thought it was a neat Rambler wagon. You don't see those very often. Looks like another Falcon, and we got a Cougar. Looks like a big Pontiac behind it. Another Hudson. There again, I don't know a lot about Hudsons, but that's a neat looking car. What kind of Cadillac is that? Okay, that's a Eldorado. It's got the front wheel drive. You can tell by the way the hubcap is that that's front wheel drive. But I've never seen one of those with the hidden headlights like that. Maybe I'm just not knowing and they all had that. I don't know. And then we got another Chevelle here. I'm going to say this one is not a fixer-upper because it has a tree in the trunk. Pontiac Grand Prix, Oldsmobile, maybe a 442. I don't know what that car with the glass lensed headlights is. Let's swing around over here real quick. This is I believe that is a Sunbeam Tiger, which was a British bodied car with, I think they had an American V8 in them. Well, no, this appears to have some kind of little 4-cylinder in it. What does that say? I can't see it. Sunbeam. Well, I was right. It's a Sunbeam Tiger. But I don't know what engine they had. I do know it was a little sports car. Anyway. 40s Cadillac. A Buick 8. So that'd be a straight 8. That's a later 30s. 55 Chevy. As much as everybody loves Tri-5 Chevys, there's so many of those around, you know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. I'm like hunting out the weird or odd stuff. Here's another Studebaker. My girlfriend's down here pointing to one with a tree growing up through the windshield. That's another early 50s Chevy. Kit's cousin here, a 326 Tempest. Let's swing back around over here real quick. That one is another Triumph and a very rough tractor. And we have cornhole boards out here. 50 Ford. 326 Tempest again. Oldsmobile Cutlass. Yeah, it's just a Cutlass. Has the flat hood with the little chrome on it. Yeah, this is, I believe, what she was pointing me out. There's a very large mimosa tree growing through the dash of, what is this? Is that a Mercury Lincoln or what? I don't know. And all of the trim and lights and stuff are gone, so I can't really tell you. My guess is it's a Mercury or a Lincoln. Just mainly because of the grille and the way the front end's made. It's too fancy for a Ford, but it is something. Oh, wait. I can almost make out the outline there, but not quite. Is there an engine? There's no engine, so no clues there. Oh, but look at this. The tree is grown around the cross member. So trying to remove this car would be very difficult. We have over here another 57. Two-door, early 60s Buick convertible. Another 57, very rough. Another oddball, possibly a Renault. That was a Roadster, and now it is a very, very sad car because it is broke in half. Very crusty Thunderbird. Like I say, at one point, this front lot area here looks like was, you know, not so much about cars for parts, but projects, maybe, we'll say. Another one of those old 40s Fords. That kind of looks like Biff's car from Back to the Future, only his was a convertible. Another 60 Caddy, seen several of those. No, I'm kind of going fast through these, but there's a lot to see and not a great deal of time. So this one looks like a limo. So a couple here I want to check out. This is definitely a Fleetwood, and it looks to be a limo because if you look in this back seat, the seat sits way back there, and there was likely a jump seat that folded down in the front here. This is a 55-ish. Interesting one right in front of it I want to go over real quick. So this is a Willys, and I believe it's a 54, 55. I forget exactly, but this is last year that Willys made a car before they sold out. And of course, Jeep, everybody knows Willys for the Jeeps, but they had cars back until here. And this one is very complete and looks pretty solid, other than the interior, not so much. The interior is completely ruined. But so it was a 3-speed on the column, most likely a 6-cylinder. I think they had a flathead. Let's get you a shot of the front here. We saw one of these in Sweetwater at a car show, and it was all fixed up, and it was the first time I'd ever saw one. This is a very rare car. Doesn't make it very valuable because most people don't even know what it is. I'm not sure what that one is. What is that? It says right there, Fairlane. Okay, that's a 50s Fairlane. We've got another Charger over here, tagged from '83 again. That's a popular year for around here. Late 40s Buick. No, that could be a 53 Buick. It's got the teardrops under the eyes. Saddest car ever. Yeah, I guess it's got good reason to be sad. Look where it's sitting. This one's an Oldsmobile. They also had a kind of a teardrop deal. And then over here looks like another Fairlane and another Charger, an Impala. All right, let me back up and regroup. We got some weird stuff going on with this 57 Chevy, which obviously started out as a 4-door. But they've sawed the roof off. This was a post car. They've sawed the posts off and made this little roll bar. I want to say this was either some kind of a parade car or somebody just really wanted a convertible and couldn't afford one. I don't know. Here we got Grand Prix. Oh wait, I got to take a second on this one. That's not a Grand Prix. Tempest also. This is the base of the Cam 6 Now this one has the single barrel carburetor. The Sprint 6 that you could get in the 67 Pontiac Firebird had a bigger cam and a 4-barrel on that same 6-cylinder. Now this one had air conditioning and power steering, which is kind of an unusual combination to go on a 6-cylinder car, which would have been more of a base model. This one, what is that? Is that a Mercury? Maybe. I think that's a Mercury. And then over here's 2 Ozes. really cool. 50s Ozes, 55-ish. 2-door hard tops, both of them. 2-door hard tops. And then this is Oz Tornado. Looks like an El Camino, a Mercury. All right, we'll get back around now. So this is the third International Scout I've found in here. And this one has some kind of homemade top and bed on it. And the bed appears to possibly be a dump. The other two I've spotted have been 2-wheel drive. I'm wondering, I can't even get over there. Still, that one's 4-wheel drive. But anyway, thought that was interesting. Can't get there for the El Camino. And then over here we just got, you know, Fords stacked up, literally. Oh, and she has found some more interesting tree growth here. And more Fords. And
I guess between both bumpers, tailgate.
yeah, the thing of it is, it's a small tree, but that tree's going to be very weak because the way it's grown up between there, it's going to be thin in the middle. That's pretty wild. 66, 67. These are Cutlass. I don't know what engine's in it. It doesn't say anything, but I'm thinking the F85 was the aluminum V8. Now, I'll swing around over here. I just spotted this one. You know, this is like a Lincoln with the elusive wood grain interior. You know. And then we got a Cougar and a Comet and Mustangs and these cars as far as you can see.
Okay.
This is a sad sight. This is a well, it's later one because it's got the bug eyes. This is a Fiat 850 Spider. Well, okay, hard to explain. The Fiat 850 Sport Spider was a convertible. I just found one of those over there. This was an 850 Racer. So you see the hard top. That was a bolted on factory hard top. Extremely rare. I don't know how many of these was made, but not very many at all. Most of them were the regular convertible. So the Racer had the fixed hard top, gave it a little more rigidity. Of course, this one is obviously not salvageable, but it's just kind of wild to see it here. The motor's still in it. Looks like the head's loose. So it's like 70, well, it could be 68 through 73, I think was last year of the 850. So that's probably a 68, having that hard top on it like that. I was excited to get into the foreign cars. Now I'm getting a little depressed. Oh well.
Need a drink?